Fighting for the third time on Supreme Championships, James Saunders is here with us. James, it will be your third time on Supreme, but you're looking for your first win. Tell me about those first two fights so far. You fought the champ, Ule Hetleflat. You fought David Yarovinko, a very experienced fighter. What did you take away from those performances, and what are you bringing to this one on May 21?
So they've been probably definitely the toughest two fights I could have taken as my first two, but I've taken it as experience. I've learnt from it, and I'm definitely going to work on ground game. My takedown defense has gone through the roof, so I truly believe that this time I'm going to absolutely smash it.
Yeah, you mentioned that the guy you're fighting, remind me who that is again?
Truman Baker.
All right. They just changed the opponent, but you did say he has good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Does that suit you then, given the lessons you're trying to take from the last two?
Yep. Well, he's going to try to get me on the ground, but I've also been doing jiu-jitsu for quite a while now. It's one of the first things I got into, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like that's what you want to use in MMA, but does it still fascinate you somehow, jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu is fun, but it's more fun punching people in the face, so can't go wrong with that.
I love it, man. And you told me that Jordan and Natalie, your coaches, had kind of alluded. You have a style reminiscent of Holly Holm and Luke Rockhold. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Why?
A lot of left high kicks, a lot of left body kicks. I do love my question mark kicks, so can't go wrong with that. And then Holly Holm uses her side kicks a lot, so she's one of the best at it. So
she's excellent. She's excellent.
Yeah.
She has both of them have a really good understanding of the southpaw game, right? And how to corral fighters into the power. Do you study their tape?
I do all the time. I believe Holly Holm is one of the most underrated fighters. She needs way more respect than she gets.
Did you watch that fight when she knocked out Ronda?
Oh, yeah. That was one of the first ones I watched. That was a beautiful left head kick. Can't get much better than that.
Did you think that was going to happen? Was that kind of your prediction?
To be honest, I didn't watch it on the night. I watched it after it happened, so I kind of knew what was happening. But I knew that Holly Holm has them head kick capabilities, so I mean, you've got to expect it coming, and Ronda Rousey didn't, and she got punished for it.
If you had remembered everything that had happened up until that point, if you had remembered all the incredible finishes during Strikeforce when Ronda then obviously paved the way to the UFC debut.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back and watch some of her highlights, and there's some of the most tremendous armbar finishes after another, and then that happened. It really shows the kind of... Yeah.
Not only that, Holly Holm wasn't as scared of getting to the ground either. So in the fight, she stood her own on the ground, and I don't think Ronda Rousey liked that very much. So...
Yeah, I know, and it kind of shows, it's revealing, isn't it? Because it gives us an idea about how people always say the styles make fights, right? And here you are looking for your first win. You came up short in a certain department, but you're working on addressing those skills, and you're looking to implement those. You predicted a second-round TKO.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to tell you how I expect that to happen, but I have a plan. I'm going to use it in the fight. So
you got to give me some insight, though. You got to give us some insight. You can't just say it's going to be the second round for no reason. Why does it not happen in the first?
Just because he's going to get exhausted after he's going to try to take me down. I'm going to out-wrestle him. Going to absolutely destroy his body, so he's just going to gas. And I'm just going to finish it off with attacks to the head. And he's going to either get knocked out or it's going to be a TKO finish.
All right. You heard it here. What does your day look like then? What do you do for a day job? How often are you training?
So I fit fireplaces during the day, and then as soon as I finish, luckily for me, my job's quite perfect. I finish about 3 o'clock most days, so I have the entire evening to train. So it's all great. I tend to try to get in circuits 3 times a week, and then K1 and pads with Natalie B, who one of the best pad holders there can be. And MMA with Jordan as my last session.
Do you feel like a long-term goal in mind, or you're 22, you've got the whole world in front of you? Don't ask me what I was doing when I was 22, but like, how does this all fit? How does this fit into like where you want to take everything in your own life? Is it a big part? Is it a hobby? Is it for fun? Is it for personal growth?
Definitely personal growth, and it's just a really good hobby as well. You get insanely fit from it, and it's insanely addicting. Like, I love being here. One of the best gyms I could possibly have been to. Uh, it's pretty much just a massive family here. Everyone gets along with everyone, and there's no animosity between any of our fighters. But I eventually want to teach it once I get to the higher level. Uh, I help out the fighters wherever I can now, holding pads for them and whatever they need.
Could you tell me a little bit more about what makes a perfect gym atmosphere? You mentioned this kind of family vibe.
We're all we message each other all the time. We message each other privately. We can take the mick out of each other without it being vicious, and it's just a good vibe. Like, I bring people here all the time. Like, my mate who got viciously attacked recently, confidence was shot, came down here, and he's absolutely loving it. Can't get rid of him now. He's here every day.
And do you like what's the first thing you wake up and think about in the morning when you're going off to work?
All my mind's on this fight at the moment. Can't stop thinking about it.
I can imagine. I can see it. I can hear it. And do you find motivation from the fact that you've got to go out and because a lot of fighters talk about this vulnerability, right? Like, you're going out in front of a bunch of people to go and potentially end up on the wrong side of an outcome in a performance. Is it the anticipation? Is there nervousness? Is there like a drive to not even have failure as an option? Failure is not an option. You remember the Apollo 13 quote, right? It always kind of sticks in the back of my mind when you're about to go and perform and do something. But like, what is it that's actually driving you then when you think about that in the morning?
I've always had I've always wanted to better myself. That's how I've always been. I've always done sports as a kid. Always tried to beat a running time. Got into powerlifting, trying to beat that. And then started here, and same thing. Just want to better myself in every way possible. And this sport, addicted to it, like I said. I just can't wait to get into it even deeper because I've only scratched the surface of what I can do, and I believe I can take this way further. And
What
that's
did you
what's
do?
keeping me going.
What was your first sport?
My first sport was cross country running. So I've always been built for running, skinny body, and just very good at cardiovascular.
And what was your first exposure to combat sports or MMA?
So I was doing my personal training course, and I was introduced to Jordan and Nat by an ex of mine, and we kind of just hit it off. I started using their gym because they invited me down to just get practice as doing the personal training. And then I saw Natalie B holding pads for someone, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. Gonna try that. And this is someone who never threw a punch before in his life, so and it just went from there. And then I saw Jordan wrestling with Chris, and they invited me up on the mat. So I was like, yep, why not? Gave that a go. Got absolutely destroyed, and it was so knackered at the end of it, but I absolutely loved it, and it's just spiraled out of control from there.
Yeah, you mentioned the addiction factor. I'm curious, like for me, I'm always obsessed with like the technical. I'm gonna go watch that on YouTube and find another variant, and then go try it in the gym. It's kind of like a laboratory for me every single time, a laboratory of education. But for many athletes, there are different things that they find addictive about the sport. What is it that keeps you coming back?
Oh, there's no one way to fight. There's always a different aspect you can go. Like me, I much prefer the striking, but I love watching videos of different combinations or even cool submissions. If I watch a submission on, like, let's just say TikTok, because there's so many channels now that are showing submissions and stuff, I'm like, that looks fun, I'll go give that a go.
What makes a
So,
fighter great then?
you got to commit 100%. You have to commit. And not only that, you're going to get beaten up a lot, but it's the fact that you get up and you you carry on going. Like me, I lost twice in not the nicest ways possible. The first fight, I got slammed through the face of the planet by Ole, and didn't stop me. I came back a couple of weeks later, started training, getting back on it, and I'm improving massively. Especially in this fight camp, I've just turned up my training completely. I know what I have to do, so I did it.
Take me back to those losses, because they were both stoppage losses, and I wonder what was going through your head and how you addressed that and kind of repackaged it to get yourself back into the gym.
So going into the Ollie fight, I wasn't having that opponent change on my first fight, that last second. I knew Ollie was a force and to be reckoned with, as we've seen. So my confidence was kind of shot going into it. But after the first round, where I was outstriking him by a mile, but as soon as he got me to the ground, that was it. So I knew that I wasn't hurt seriously, and I knew I could improve that side of the game, so I did. I was then meant to fight on the second one as a K1 fight, but then during training I rolled my ankle and it kind of messed up my ankle for a couple of weeks, so I got pulled from that. But then the last week it kind of got better, so that's when Doward's opponent got pulled out, and I was like, I'll jump in. If I lose, I can learn from it. I tried hooking up the guillotine in the first one, but being a spazzy white belt, I held on to it for way too long rather than focus on position. So.
And what do you tell yourself to keep on going? Like, what does the self-talk look like?
I just love learning, so I just say just get to the gym and learn something. Like if I have a bad day at work or something like that, just go down the gym, kind of take your anger out on the bag, or you can have some sparring and get the anger out that way. So it's like there's no wrong way about it.
Do you think that's inside everybody?
It eventually you can drill it into yourself for sure. Some people like to start they like to sit at home and feel sorry for themselves. You see it all the time. But if you have someone there to tell you to get up and start doing stuff, once you start doing that and see progress, that will instill that mentality into you.
Did you ever have that experience personally?
Not kind of, yeah. So after I left sixth form, I wanted to join the Paras, and due to having eczema in my hands, I couldn't. So I got all the way to the medical stage, passed my physical and all that stuff. Then I had eczema in my hands, and they was like, nope, can't do it. So I was quite heartbroken about that, because that's what I really wanted to do. And then my mate was like, oh, come to the gym. And I was like, yep, right, sure, let's go. And then just got addicted to that. And now I'm here.
It's insane, man. It's cool to hear from a guy who has come in, lost 2 fights. He's 22. You found something you love. You had other athletic pursuits. You had something you want to do with a career. And here you are right now on the gates of 3 weeks walking to, hopefully, right? Third time being the charm.
100%.
Give us some final shout outs to the fans, of the people that are watching this. They need to know why they need to come and watch you compete on May 21 and what it is going to be when James Saunders goes in there and fights in MMA.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. I've been training to make my striking way more exciting, and it's going to be a knockout or TKO, I'm telling you. And not only that, Supreme is full of amazing bouts, not just mine. We've had Gary versus Bartek, which was the most incredible fight I've ever seen, and the crowd was going absolutely nuts. So if something like that happens again, you're not going to want to miss it.
All right. James, awesome to have you on today, man. A real pleasure to be able to hear some of your story. And of course, in anticipation of Supreme Championships, May 21, be there. James Saunders will be there. Thanks again for coming on today, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, man. We'll see you soon.